The Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 66 of the Partial Breakaway Podcast. Episode 66, the magnificent one.
I like it. I like it.
Can you believe that he was, they're doing like the all-century teams for each NHL team, and Mario Lemieux was on the second team of the Pittsburgh's all-century team. The second team.
How's that possible?
Not the first team, but the second team.
How's that possible?
See, this is
maybe because he was at the end of his career.
This is once again, this is analytics taking over stupid sports, and this is what happens. You have Mario Lemieux on the second. Please.
A lot coming out of Pittsburgh, actually. Malkin's house got broken into. They couldn't find his rings.
But then they found the rings, and they were inside Malkin's house
that got broken into.
It sounds like the Infinity War, no? Where like he wears all the rings and he snaps his finger and people start disappearing.
Yeah, or Marc-Andre Fleury just went a step too far this time.
Very possible. Very, very possible.
And staying on the Penguins topic, we got a goalie goal yesterday.
We did, yeah. Najalkovic. And guess what? We benched him in the DPR league.
Yes, we benched him.
Did you guys know that he scored?
Did you know Jerry was sent to the minors? Sorry.
Yeah, that we're going to talk about. But did you know he scored in the ECHL, AHL, and now NHL?
Wow.
Huh?
No, I see. And that is somebody, ladies and gentlemen, that does his research.
and he does his Googling.
That's right. That's right. Well, I have to give it to you. Your last week's take on Kirby Dach, I did not believe you whatsoever. However, because you've been so good and so hot lately on your takes, I decided to keep him in my lineup, and it paid off.
See, there you go.
Three
we'll
goals
talk about
in the last 3 games.
So, Junior, what's on the menu today?
All right, so
Tonight.
we're going to have the usual on-man rush with news and trends of the NHL this week. We have our waiver wire pickups, our partial breakaway fantasy league claims and drops, which we haven't done in a couple of weeks. And lastly, we're bringing back the roster surgeoning. The Dallas Stars and Nick's team on his decent league, which is a redraft.
Cup. It's a redraft league. We're, I think, 10 or 12 teams in there. And I thought I drafted a freaking good team. So I left the draft feeling really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then I think we're going to have to surge in this because I'm not sure why I'm in last place.
So it's the first time that we're doing a non-dynasty team.
Correct.
Nice. Okay.
Something different.
And the first time we do one of our teams as well.
First time we're doing one of our teams, yeah. That's actually very true. Because we're going to need to do our teams in LPHL. We're going to need to do our teams in... Because I'm first in that one.
I don't know if we're going to get through. He's been quiet for like 3 months.
And all of a sudden...
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it feels good that I have Junior to my left, who is also under me in LPHL. And I have Vince to my right here.
Who's first from the bottom.
Who's first from the bottom, that's right. But first in our hearts.
There you go, as long as you know.
Hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed my son's birthday.
Hey,
yes,
Mateo.
Happy birthday, Mateo.
His 4th birthday. This is going way too fast for me. I'm not ready. I feel like he's about to leave for college soon.
Oh my goodness,
my God! When he starts playing soccer or hockey, his last name is going to be from one sleeve to the other.
When I used to play, it used to start from here
and go all the way there.
Go all the way here.
That's
right. That's right.
Might as well just put Lancha on it.
It's nothing like this. I love my wife, but that's a little.
That was a good
far. Yeah, that's a little bit of a zinger. Let's start the odd man rush before I freak out and leave.
I think it's a good time to segue there.
Jeez. That's a last time I'm giving freaking Vince a compliment. All right. Junior,
All
you
right.
are the host of this segment.
Yes, where we take news and notes and trends of the NHL and turn them into 30-second takes, which usually last 3 minutes. All right, we're going to start with you, Vince. We touched on Pittsburgh before. We're going to touch on them again.
Just like touching.
Yeah, we just like touching on this podcast. Tristan Jarry on waivers. Is this officially the end?
The end.
Multiple years left on his contract.
Multiple years left on his contract. 5.4 million, which is it's high for a goalie of his stature. He's going to be turning 30 in April. I don't know, man. It's I think so. Like, if you look at the NHL right now, is there anybody that's really looking for any type of goalies?
I mean, someone's always looking for a goalie, but not with that kind of salary.
Not with that kind of record.
No, exactly.
Right.
Record, salary.
I mean, I would say Edmonton with Skinner, they're a little bit, iffy maybe.
Yeah, but
Carolina's been looking for a goalie because of the injury to Anderson.
Well,
they're
Anderson,
not sure if Kochekov could do it all the time. Right?
Anderson just came back. Edmonton, the problem is they already sent that guy down with $5 million of Jack Campbell.
Yeah, and
So-
they're still paying.
Well, yeah, they bought him out, and now he's in Detroit.
I mean, he's. I think to get back, it's an uphill battle for him to get back into the NHL. That's for sure.
I think so at this point. I would actually say, and not to make it go longer than it should, but I would say this is probably the worst mistake that Dubas started his career with Pittsburgh.
Listen, I have questions about Dubas as a GM. Now, we were talking about this before with all analytics and all that. I have questions about Dubas being a GM, but that's on another day.
All right, Nick, on to you. Obviously, this was prepared before today, but Middlestat had been out of favor in Colorado with Coach Bednar. Was benched for the third period of some games. I mean, today he had a bit of a resurgence with 1 goal and 2 assists in a victory over the Dallas Stars. But what's going on with Middlestat? And there's rumors of possibly him being traded. From a fantasy perspective, what do you do here?
Well, I think it's a little unfair to Middlestat, right? Because the Colorado team has suffered injuries.
Yeah.
Right. They started without Nishushin. Now he's injured. They had Drouin in and out of the lineup. They had Lehkonen in and out of the lineup. He hasn't had really consistent playmakers on the lines with him. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of this is on him as well. At the end of the day, he's on a 51-point pace. Is that good enough to be a second-line center on a Colorado team that has a cup aspiration? No, it's not. But Colorado seems to have these players that they fall in love with, and they pay them right away, and they trade for them right away, right? And
Blackwood.
We spoke about Blackwood already.
Yeah.
Now we're speaking about Middlestat. I think he'll rebound. I think he'll do fine in the end. But really, how fantasy relevant is a 51-point pace player?
Yeah, it's not as tempting as it once was when he first went to Colorado.
But just to watch out for Colorado. All their players are starting to get healthy. Lehkonen, Drouin, they're gonna get back on that horse to make that run.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm not worried about them making playoffs. And at the end of the day, they don't really care about. They don't care about regular season, right?
No, exactly.
You just got to make it.
All right, Vince. The Four Nations Cup is right around the corner. I was thinking about it the other day, and finally I was like, this could be very dangerous for NHL teams and even for fantasy GMs to be aware of what's going on, because it's not an all-star break. It's not an all-star game. These guys are going to go for their heads. They're going to be aggressive. It's going to be very physical. They're out to win. So what exactly is the danger of the Four Nations Cup for teams like, example, Florida, who have 8 players going to this tournament, or fantasy GMs?
Listen, I don't think they're going to go for each other's heads, because the players in the Four Nations Cups are just too talented for that. You don't have any goons on those teams, right? It's talented squad.
Do you mean they didn't build it the way that the World Junior team got built for
No.
Canada?
Well, I don't know. Sam Bennett's on Team Canada.
Yeah, no, but I'm still saying, like,
Over Suzuki.
yeah, but I'm just saying it's more talented. So I'm not worried about the going for their heads, the problem I would have here is the same. Not the problem, but the issue is the same thing as when the Olympics are on, right? And the NHL players were part of the Olympics. It's that any freak accident could happen, and your star player could be out for the season, and not because he was playing for your team as an owner, but because he was playing for his country. And this is and fantasy is the same thing. The least players you have playing in the Four Nations, the happier you should be, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
As a fantasy owner, I would agree with you, right? And as a regular owner, I mean, it's nice to have your person selling jerseys and stuff, but really, you want your guys healthy.
And everybody else gets that it's a 2-week tournament or 4?
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks.
So it's basically like the Olympics. Everybody gets that 2 weeks vacation, basically, but those guys, which are usually your star guys that need that break, don't get it. So, and for some players, it could work well. For others, it might be a disadvantage. But the more players you have playing in this tournament, the more worried I would be.
And so just a final question on that is, just like in the NHL now, they're talking of a deadline before the deadline, which is right before the Four Nations. From a fantasy perspective, if you're a seller and you have some players that are going to this tournament, are you thinking, let me try getting rid of them before the Four Nations? Or does that not worry you guys at all?
Most of the guys here, though, are not for sale, right? Like maybe a JT Miller, right?
Yeah,
there was rumors today that he was almost traded. So maybe a JT Miller is somebody that's for sale, but other than that, Crosby's not for sale. Kyle Connor's not for sale.
No, but you guys like Zibanejad or
Zibanejad
Devin
has a no trade
Taves, who
clause.
just now started. No, but I'm saying from a fantasy perspective.
Oh, okay.
Does it at all worry you that the potentially of being hurt or
You're
something?
saying to trade them before the...
Yes, if you're a seller, if you
If you're
know
a
you're
seller.
already a seller.
Yeah, I mean, if people are willing to buy.
Yeah, but
You need two
but-
sides to every deal,
Yeah,
right?
but if you're already a seller, you've already been trying to sell these guys already. So if you haven't pulled the trigger, it's because the right trade hasn't come along.
I have in Lama, I've had Brad Marshall on the block, and I'm willing to withhold 50% of his salary because he's a UFA this year, and just to get him off my books. But there's no takers. There's nobody that's willing to make a move. So
Because he doesn't like pasta. It's not my fault.
no, you know what it is? It's because Dan's running away with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
that's
But
the-
So
that
because
problem.
Dan's running away with it, like I reached out to Batista, okay, whose team name is the Habbers. I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, bud, like Marshall might be able to help your team. And he goes to me, yeah, he might. But in the last 2 weeks, I dropped from 3rd place to 7th. So what am I going to do with a Marshall? He's not going to be the one that gets me back up there. And then I spoke to Pete, Checks and Balances, who's actually in 3rd place or 4th now.
Fourth, no?
And I go to him, what about this? Because I see you have a lot of injuries. And he told me, he's like, although he's a good player, especially at half price, but I have need on defense. I don't have need on wingers. So, anyways, it's just there's no buyers. If there's no buyers, you're stuck.
No,
Yeah.
and that's the problem with fantasy leagues is when it's not competitive on top, it's very hard to trade because you're not going to get the right value for your player. Not even the right
Nobody's
value,
gonna buy.
a high value because no one is interested to buy.
No one wants to overpay for second place.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
All right,
that was long-winded, but
Nick, on to you. Kyle Connor is, let's be honest, he's on fire again. Nothing new, but somehow he might still be one of the most underrated scorers in the National Hockey League. Do you agree?
so I was speaking with listener Bamia because he has Kyle Connor in LPHL. Okay, and he's not necessarily competing right now. He's fighting for 5th spot, so middle of the pack. And he told me, he's like, how do you trade this guy? How can you even contemplate trading this guy? Because at the end of the day, he just puts pucks in the net. And that's what he's been doing consistently forever. He's always been doing 30 goals. Like, it's so rare for him not to hit the 30-goal mark.
Yeah.
The only time he didn't hit 30-goal mark was 2020, 2021, which was the COVID season. He hit 26 in 56 games. Like, he was on pace for 30 anyways. So, perennial 30-goal scorer, and he's hit 47 before. So, it's very, very difficult to trade somebody like this because you're never going to get value back that's similar to this kind of consistency. And that's the part that tells me that he's just a great player. And if you have him, you keep him and you hold on to him and you ride him until the end.
Exactly. Fair enough. I agree. Vince, moving on from one Canadian team to another, we're going to go to Edmonton. Put Colson had a pretty big pedigree heading into his draft year as a goal scorer and playmaker. Unfortunately, didn't pan out in Vancouver, but since being put on a line with Draisaitl in Edmonton, has been kind of making a name for himself. Is there still hope for Put Colson to be fantasy relevant?
4 points in his last 4 games played. I know everybody can say, oh yeah, but he's playing with Draisaitl. How many players have played with Crosby and not panned out?
How many players have played with Draisaitl?
Or Draisaitl, you know? So, listen, he's turning 24. And he's already had 4 seasons. So, I mean, he came into the league really young. So, fantasy perspective, my take would be I'm keeping a close eye on him. I'm not picking him up off waivers. I'm not trading for him, but I'm keeping a close eye on him. Because if he can stay consistent and stay on that line with Draisaitl, I think then there might be some fantasy relativeness to it. But right now, he's got my attention. So I keep my a close eye on him.
I think he's finally become relevant enough to give that hope to be included as a sweetener in a deal. That's where I see he's at if you want to put it in fantasy terms.
But because it's 46 games played, 18 points. It's still nothing impressive, right? But like I said, I have him, start on Fantrack so you see what his stats are, and keep an eye on him. That's what I would do.
Nick, this is a loaded question, and another Canadian team here. So try to keep it at least within 3 minutes.
I'll keep it under 1.
Ooh.
Most surprising team in a playoff spot right now: the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Calgary Flames?
Well,
and which player from these two teams has been the biggest surprise in terms of fantasy relevance?
And we don't want to be homers, but I think the Habs deserve to be in this question also.
But they're not in a playoff spot.
They're not in a playoff spot, but go ahead. Columbus or Calgary?
Okay. So if you would have asked me at the beginning of the year, I would say that Columbus, Calgary, and Montreal would not be in a playoff spot.
I know. We have it recorded. We all had them at the bottom of the divisions.
Yeah. So I don't think that any of these teams really are not necessarily. How do I put this? I'll tell you which team I think is the most. I'm convinced that right now.
Under a minute, you said?
Yeah. So, to me, I'm looking at Columbus and I'm saying to myself, wow, it's just clicking. It's clicking on all cylinders right now. Marchenko is the biggest surprise on Columbus. The guy is on pace for 87 points right now.
It's nuts.
Okay.
Never would have thought that.
87 points right now. He's scoring almost every single game. Like, he is on fire. And the whole team is playing very good with that coach who I had mentioned that Dean Evison was a good coach and that he would be great for Columbus. Okay. The next team is, I think, the pumpkin, and that's Calgary. Calgary is riding on Dustin Wolf playing very well, but look at Huberdeau, 53 points on pace for. Look at Kadri, 52 points on pace for. Zary was a nice little surprise, but even him, he's only at 45-point pace. Yeah. Coronado, nice little surprise, but only at 45-point pace. To me, there's nothing sustainable in Calgary's team right now, and the clock's going to strike 12, and they're going to become pumpkins again. But I think Calgary fans are accepting that. I don't see Calgary fans being out here saying that we're a playoff team, we're a contender, and we should be in there, right? I think it's a nice, beautiful start to the story, beautiful start to Wolf's career, but other than that, and Montreal is different. I mean, they got spanked today by Toronto. But we'll see with Montreal. They're a little bit further along on the rebuild than Calgary, but not as far into the rebuild as Columbus is.
The thing is does this do these results for Calgary change the perspective on their team? Meaning, do they have to go through a full rebuild right now, or can they go through a retool and be competitive?
I think Conroy has been pretty clear from the start. He's not budging. They have a plan.
Good.
I wouldn't if I were them.
No,
I don't think it's safe to be a buyer with guys like Huberdeau.
No, I know exactly. I 100% know.
$10.5 million. Is that what he's making?
Yeah, Huberdeau.
For what, 50 points?
Are you talking about Huberdeau or Pedersen right now?
Oh yeah. And you had a chance to sell him for a superstar, and you didn't.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous asking price.
0. Velarde's an injury. Anyways.
Vince,
Yo.
you were big on this guy. You took a step back from him. Nemec of the New Jersey Devils is starting to ruffle some feathers in New Jersey. He's running out of patience. He hasn't asked for a trade, but he did say if things don't progress, then maybe he'll have no choice. Actually, if I could just pull up his comments. I have them here. I want to say the exact quote, not to... I can't remember any number 2 draft pick that went to the farm for a third year. It's still too early to request a trade. If this situation continues, it will have to be addressed. Now, take this a little bit with a grain of salt, because if I'm not mistaken, it was in his language. It was an interview done in Slovak, so it was translated. But yeah, what's happening? Are we still high on Nemec? Is a change of scenery what's needed?
I think this reminds me a bit of the David Jiricek situation in Columbus.
Scored his first goal today.
Yeah, and
He'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think Nemec needs a change of scenery. I don't think he's in the New Jersey plans. I think Luke Hughes has surpassed him. I think Dougie Hamilton is already ahead of him. So, and I think he feels that, especially with being sent down to AHL. And he's not 18 points in 24 games for a defenseman in the AHL. It's not bad. I mean, he's
picked it up as of late. He's been really good.
He's drafted second overall. I mean, no matter how bad the draft year was, it's still second overall. And as a defenseman, the first defenseman to be picked. So I think a change of scenery definitely is needed for him. Is he going to get it? I'm not sure. It all depends what New Jersey is doing. I know New Jersey was in on a few guys. There was a few names that they were in on, and he was guaranteed if New Jersey makes a trade deadline for a big name. I'm talking like a JT Miller or something. Nemec is involved.
Oh, that was the big name that was most recently.
And if that's the thing, I don't think it's a favorable situation for Nemec to go to Vancouver, because you already have Quinn Hughes there, and then you have Wielander who's also there, and then
But he would still be a second pairing defenseman.
He'll have a better chance than with New Jersey, that's for sure. But listen, dude, there's a reason he got sent down to the AHL. He had his opportunity in the NHL, right? He had the same opportunity Luke Hughes had, but yet they chose to send down Nemec.
Yeah, but it's because they went to get Pesci. They want to re-sign Kovacevic. So he's just telling himself right now, they're going to get these guys. Plus, they want to extend some guys. Where's my space?
But he has the reason to doubt his position. But you can't blame New Jersey. New Jersey is trying to build a competitive Stanley Cup contenders. They're trying to be contenders.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day,
they don't have room for teaching and youth, and
you need your Pescis, you need your Kovacevic, you need those players in the playoffs. And so, to me, yes, a change of scenery would be nice. I don't think New Jersey will give him away because his value is still up there.
Of course, second overall pick, his value is.
But he definitely needs a change of scenery to be fantasy related.
Nick, a guy you liked a lot, but ever since he lost his soulmate, if you will, hasn't been quite the same. Cooley of the New York Rangers with Capo Caco, 30 games played, 11 goals, 12 assists, 23 points. Cooley without Capo Caco, 13 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. Is this more about Capo Caco or is this more about Cooley?
Well, I mean, Cooley started off on fire, and I think that nobody expected him to be necessarily on that point pace in his second full year in the NHL. Having said that, I think Cooley's going to be just fine, but now this is not the year for him to be a starter in fantasy, right? Except if, 0 points in the last 13 games played, you could find other hitters. But he's very good at hitting. He's one of the best hitters out there. So if your league counts hits, okay, that would give him some fantasy relevance. He's on a 44-point pace, which is pretty decent for a sophomore. I'm hoping that he regains his form. I think that this is more of like a wall that he's hitting right now. And but all of New York has not been doing well.
Yeah, I find the funny part in all this is in the
of
last
late,
5 games, their stars have actually picked it up a little bit. Trocheck's been much better. Panarin's been much better. Zibanejad. Kreider's been chipping in. Lafreniere's been chipping in. So I think maybe he was taking the lead while those guys were slumping, and now that they're back, kind of his turn to slump, I guess.
Look, if they're planning on trading some of these guys like Kreider, I feel like Will Cooley is the next Kreider, if he could stay up there, right? Like, he's going to be the guy that's going to be finishing some of the playmakers' passes, and he's shown
30 goals, 20 assists.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe even something like that. 30 goals. If he could, I'm hoping he turns into that. If not, 25. He's going to be a good replacement level player for me.
Very nice. Very nice. And on to the last one. Vince, the Edmonton Oilers get another player who just can't play defense. So maybe they should pair him with Evan Bouchard. Ooh, no, I'm just kidding. John Klimberg signs with the Edmonton Oilers. Does he really have fantasy value, or... I saw that in one of, I think it was DPR, someone already picked him up.
I think he does. He has fantasy relative on your IR. I think if you have an IR spot, it's perfect for him to fit on there. Because I don't know how fantasy relative he's going to be. He's not going to play on their first power play. He's not taking Evan Bouchard's place on their first power play. That first power play plays a minute and 45 seconds of the 2 minutes. So you're getting 15 seconds, and you're getting 15 seconds with Henrique, Arvidsson, and Connor Brown. I mean, come on. How fancy relative can you be? No. This is just Edmonton getting some reassurance in defense. Like, I wouldn't even say depth, because like you said, defensively, it's not like he's a juggernaut defensively. But I'm guessing they think he can do better than Ty Emberson or Stetcher. So, so, hey, guys, don't listen. We got Hudson because of Kulak.
Oh, is that the trade?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the pick.
Yeah, that was the pick.
Wow.
Say it was Edmonton's second round. So, yeah, listen, I don't know. I do not think he's fantasy relevant for the people who are picking him up. I think they're a little bit in the dreamy world, but they have IR spots, so they can just put him on the IR spot in a few weeks.
Guys, that was it. The Odd Man Rush is done.
All right.
Moving on, Nick.
Moving on to the next area of the podcast here at Partial Breakaway.
I'm
Is
celebrating.
that Vince's theme song?
I'm celebrating.
Is this Vince's theme song? All right, we got to give him credit. At this point, it's not fluke.
Well, the Google searches have been paying off for, he's paying Google at this point. No, let's be honest. Credit where credit is due. Throwing flowers at Vince's way, because yet again he comes up with a waiver wire pickup that saves potentially somebody's league. Vince had chosen Kirby Dach last week. Got a big win off of Kirby Dach, and
He still has a game left tomorrow.
And he already has 3 goals in 3 games.
Yep.
So that's a nice little win for Vince. So I think that moves him to 9 wins.
No, I updated.
Oh, you already
I
updated it. So
updated,
8
yeah.
wins and 2 losses. Myself, I went with Nick Paul, and I was actually quite excited with Nick Paul because in the first game we texted each other, "Hey, Nick Paul got a point," and then and that was it. That's all he did. 1 point. I'd love to call it a push, but it's not.
It's better
a
than
loss.
it's better than some. Oh my God, this guy's throwing the ball. Interception.
Interception.
Wow.
Good job. Good job.
as-
There's a flag.
As you know,
Unbelievable,
we're
man.
watching the Detroit Lions game as we're podcasting. Go.
Well, I need Ben Johnson to get hired by the Raiders tomorrow. So if the Lions lose, Ben Johnson, Raiders, go. All right. You went with Andre Palat.
Oh
who,
man, I was really excited about that one.
I'm a loser. I'm a loser.
I feel like only losers get excited about really bad takes,
I
right?
still have a better record than some of us on this.
Barely.
Yeah, well,
Because you gave yourself a push. Barely.
2 points in 4 games is a push.
Uh,
But like he still has a game to play tomorrow. So
Oh,
if by
yeah.
chance he gets 2 points, and
if he
it's
gets
a
a hat
push.
trick, then it's a push, yeah. Anyways, this week, ladies and gentlemen, we are collectively we are at 14, 13, and 3. So we're still above 500 barely, and thanks to Vince.
Okay, as long as you said it.
What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to change my luck here, and I'm going to go with somebody that's been doing a little bit decently lately.
You go,
With
Nick.
Pavel Zacha from Boston.
Hey, he's helped me
41%
get a
owned.
win. Maybe he can help you get a win.
Look, he has 4 games this week, and the first game is against San Jose. So that's all I'm saying, right? I'm always good for the first game. After that, I'm not sure anymore. So Pavel Zacha is my pick for this week. Junior,
Yes.
who do you pick? And stop looking. You should have done your research beforehand.
I'm thinking Adam Gaudette. Recently paired on a line with Timmy Stutzla. He got a point today. He broke his schneid the other day as well. He has 2
I thought you
points.
said he broke his anyways.
He's got 2 points in 3 games. They also play 4 games this week. They doesn't seem like they're high scoring games, but the last 3 weeks I went with teams that were playing high scoring games and it didn't pay off. So I just need them to get points. I don't care who they play. So I'm gonna go with Adam Gaudette. He's feeling it. Timmy Stutzla's feeling it. So
11% owned.
11% owned.
It's risky.
Look, I've went with 40% owned and it hasn't worked. And the last time I took a chance was with Dubois.
You know,
And it paid off.
collectively, we should be helping Vince get us above 500. I feel you're just tanking. All right, Vince, what is the win for this week?
Listen, I went a bit.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I went a bit off my. Usually, I go with teams that play the most games during the week, so you have that extra advantage. This week, I went with a team that just plays 3 games, the Calgary Flames, and they're tough games. But Matt Coronado, he plays on the second line with Backlund, but he also plays on the first power play. Now, we already spoke about it. It's a team that's offensively challenged. They don't score a lot of goals. But when they do, he's usually in the mix. And their first game is against Buffalo. So, and they have a 3-day break, basically, from their first game of the week is only on Thursday.
Wow.
So they play Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that on that Thursday game, they get a momentum. And then they go to Minnesota and Winnipeg. Those are 2 games where they might be a little iffy. But I feel that first power play, second line, young kid, has his legs. He's the one who's going to get the minutes, so it should be good.
All right. Well, you spoke about the fact that team plays 3 games. I'm not going to mention all of them because there's 13 teams in the NHL this week that play 4 games.
Oh, Christ. That
Okay.
long?
Yeah.
There's 18. Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Does it? Yes, it does.
4, 5.
There's 18
Are you
teams.
questioning my homework?
No, your math. There's 18 teams that play 3 games, and then there's only 1 team that plays 2 games, and that's the Devils. So if you have any Devils, drop them.
Yeah, take Palat. Take Palat next week. He's guaranteed to
Take
get
Palat.
5 points.
Yeah, 5 points in 2 games. So only the Devils are playing less games. So if you have droppable players from there, you could go ahead and do that. Ladies and gentlemen, waiver wire pickups are done. Let's talk about our partial breakaway podcast league. And this
I
is a
love that
league,
league.
where all three of us are in. And believe it or not, we've kind of cut the lead that Vince had by just a slightly bit.
No, actually, he's taken an even bigger lead, the biggest he's ever had. And you've actually cut the lead to second place. This is the closest you've been to second place since the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
Well,
But we're both further away from Vince than we have ever were as well.
Yeah.
after today, 29, 30 points.
Yeah, well, it's me and you are only 12-point different for second place, so that's an interesting little conundrum.
Yeah, well,
because
last week you didn't
you
want
made
to
fun
do
of me
any
a lot,
switches, so I got stuck with Sanheim an extra week.
Yeah, well, sucks to be you. All right. Who's doing switches this week?
I'm switching. I'm ready.
I'm switching also.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Nick, are you switching or?
No, I'm not. I'm going to stay pat.
Ooh.
And wait till Kaprasov has come back. I was too scared to drop him.
I think you should drop him.
You know what? Even with a shutout, I only got 12 points tonight. It's crap. A load of crap.
I only got 29.
All right. So I'm putting Sanheim, dropping Sanheim, putting him back in the pile here. Nick,
Don't cheat.
do the mixing
There's
and the
only
maxing.
one person that cheats on this podcast,
And he
his
Googles.
name is Enzo.
Poor guys.
VIN.
Jealousy is just so ugly on your
Go,
faces.
pick.
Why are you just so close together, Nick?
I don't know.
I don't know, Nick. You wanted me to take the top one.
You have trouble usually with small things.
I'm not used to handling small things, Nick.
That's not what you said before. When we were trying to put the...
All right,
HDMI.
so we have the Columbus Blue
Oh, hey.
Jackets. All
There, we
right.
just spoke about them. They're on fire.
Yeah, I already have Werenski, though.
oh,
Oh, nice. So you need another defenseman from there. Well, look,
Actually,
we're
guys,
just-
I cannot take Columbus Blue Jackets as I have Marchenko and Werenski.
So why is it in the
why
pile?
is it in the pile then?
You guys weren't here for 2 weeks. God knows what happened to these things.
Oh, boy. I think your daughter drew on
Want to just double check?
Sure, that's the pile.
I did a test before, though. I had a team that was just one.
There's 2 Habs players.
I have Suzuki.
I'm a loser.
I think you're in the wrong
You're
pile.
in the wrong pile, buddy.
That's the wrong pile.
For
All right,
sure.
give me another team, Nick.
Vegas?
I have Aiko. And
You
someone
have,
has
someone
Theodore.
has Theodore. Okay, so that's the wrong pile.
Put Philly in here.
No, yeah, Philly's back in there, and there was a team at the top there. I don't remember who it was. All right, well,
Oh, Drew does
Anaheim should be in there too, no?
No, I have Lacombe.
On Drew Terry.
But
Okay.
I'm dropping Lacombe, so just keep Anaheim close.
I don't have Troy.
All right.
See? No, I don't have Troy.
You dropped him.
No, dude.
So there's only one that was in the pile.
Let me check. Because this should have all been done off air.
Yeah, like Junior.
You know, what do we leave you here with?
Tampa Bay.
Vince.
Yeah,
Put it
there's
in there.
Cooch and Hedman, I think. No,
But that's the thing. I think.
no. Tampa only has one.
Okay.
Tampa only has one.
You go, boy. You ready?
Yeah, Tampa only has one.
Pick Philly again.
The Carolina. Okay, so basically I dropped Gostisbehere for crap, and I'm gonna take Gostisbehere back now that he's back from injury. So that's gonna be a fast one. I'm dropping Sanheim, picking up Shane Gostisbehere.
Ooh, very interesting.
Oh, there's nobody on Carolina taken. Put that back in the pile.
Put it back in the pile.
Put it back.
I can't believe the Lions are gonna lose. Tabarouette.
All right, so we're going.
Johnson.
We're going for Washington. I'll take Montreal and take Lane Hudson. Rangers. All right, Nick. I'm dropping Lacombe.
You're dropping?
I'm dropping Lacombe.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please.
So he still did well for me. I'm not gonna lie. He did give me a few points here and there.
He's
but-
been the lead guy on that back end.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go for someone else. Ooh, blue. I like blue. Sounds fair.
My boy Blue. My boy Blue.
Blam. Oh, San Jose.
Oh, you got Wallman.
Oh, yeah.
Do I have Wallman already? Wallman?
Hold on.
No,
hold
you
on,
could take
hold on.
Wallman.
Let's see.
I'll tell you right now who San Jose is taking. We have no one. Nobody's taken from
Nothing,
San Jose.
nada,
So you
zero.
have,
Nada. So I'm gonna trade him for Wallman. I'll
right.
take the Wallman.
take the Wallman.
I'll take the Wallman.
Detroit's losing.
Yeah,
Wow,
the
guys.
Lions are going to lose this game again. Oh, touchdown.
Wow. Touchdown.
All right. So, are we done with the waiver wire pickups, Nick?
Yes, we are.
Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our waiver wire segment at the Partial Breakaway Podcast.
And to our next podcast, our next
You
category.
didn't do an outro for that. It doesn't matter.
We don't have an outro.
Yeah, it's the same.
Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house?
I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
All right, so we're back to our roster surgeoning, where we make
Surgeonizing,
up surgeonizing, where we make up words and
Triage.
just hope you guys believe that these are real words.
We don't really care if you believe.
All right, so these are the teams we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Dallas Stars, and Nick and Junior will be talking about Dallas Stars, and then we'll talk about Nick's decent league team. Where he actually felt good about his draft, and like most of us do, and then they're shitting the bed. So let's start with the Dallas Stars, boys and girls. So goaltending, where are we at?
I think Ottinger's picked it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dallas started slow this year, and I feel like Ottinger was the reason for that.
Yeah.
But he's picked it up of late, so I'm feeling good with Ottinger right now in the goaltending department of that team.
Joe?
Yeah, I agree. And for head-to-head leagues, if DeSmith is playing, it's not a bad choice. It's not a team that allows a lot of goals. He's got 6 wins in 14 games only, but he does have a shutout, 42% quality starts. I think goaltending is an asset for the Dallas Stars.
Who are we selling high on? So basically a player that you think is doing very well but can't keep it up.
So I had this discussion, okay, with my kumbara. All right,
Kumba!
Marocos.
Johnny Mavroukis, and his team name in LPHL is
Winnipeg Bears.
Winnipeg
Bears.
Bears.
So I told him, you have Matt Duchene. It's a keeper league. The guy is 34 years old, and you're not a competitor this year.
And
I'm willing to offer you,
he's making $3 million.
and he's making $3 million, which is a good salary. I go, he's on pace for 78 points this year, which is probably not sustainable because he's only done on pace for more than that once in his career, and it was 2021, 2022. Okay, so we're talking about a 34-year-old player having the best career, let's say a career year on the Dallas Stars. Sell him. I'm willing to offer you, I go to him, David Juracek. Again,
You says to the guy.
I says to the guy. No. Again, though, I'm giving him a 20-year-old defenseman who has some upside for a 34-year-old that he's probably not going to even keep on his team next year. And his answer was no. He wanted a lot more. He wanted Mattychuk. He wanted other stuff as well. And I said, okay, I forget it. I'm not doing that for a 34-year-old, you know. But he's my sell high candidate. You should be selling this player if you're not a competitor right now.
Joe, do you have a player?
Yeah, Duchesne's the obvious one. But based off his most recent hot streak, I think I would sell high on Jason Robertson.
Ooh, would you sell high?
I think
on
people
Jason?
still have this idea that he's a 90 to 100 point player. But it's going to be the second consecutive season where he's trending for 80 points or less. And if you can catch that person who thinks he's still a 90-point player or a 46 goal scorer, then maybe now's the time that he's found his game to trade him for a lot.
I mean, a counter argument to that would
You
be
definitely have to offer more than
it's
David
got to be a
Juracek.
crazy trade
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
for a Robertson at that age. It's got to be a great, crazy offer. Because why not just hold on to him?
Yeah, you could. I was just trying to give you a different different opinion, like a different take. But
When's his contract due? Do you guys know?
I'm pretty sure he signed a long-term deal. He's at 7.8 million.
No, I don't think so.
He just signed it like 2 years
He's
ago.
actually year 3 of 4.
3 or 4.
Oh, he only signed a 4-year deal. Ah,
Yeah. So he's coming due for, I guess, a raise.
No, I don't know. Well, mind you, naturally they're all gonna get raises, right? But,
Yeah. Pat Brisson is his agent, so I'm seeing
he's
a
getting
raise.
oh, definitely a raise.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason Robinson and Matt Duchene. Now, who are you selling? Who are you buying low on the Dallas Stars?
Buying low, eh? So I would say Heiskanen. Wow. Because he's just not having, like, Thomas Harley has more points than him this season.
He's been very disappointing fantasy-wise. Not,
Yes.
I wouldn't say NHL-wise, but fantasy-wise, he's
Heiskanen,
been very disappointing.
20 points in 45 games. Wow. Only 20 points for a salary that's high, but I think this is a blip in the matrix.
You think?
Yeah, I think that he's gonna be a much better player than this come next year. I don't think he's on pace for 40 points. I think he's better than that. I think he should be at least a 50 to 60 point player. So, maybe this is an opportunity for you to buy low on Miro Heiskanen.
Junior?
Yeah, sure. This is a tough team to surgeonize because their stars started so slow and now they're starting to pick it up a little bit.
But they're so good collectively as a team that it's hard to. None of them are really offensively running away with.
I'll give you a name that might be available, might not, depending on the GMs, but it's definitely worth a look. Stankoven he's projected less points than last year. And there was so much hype around this kid heading into the season that I think you could, if you're in the right league with the right people, you could probably bank on a buy low here on a GM that says, okay, maybe this guy he's not who we thought he would be. Personally, I like to be a little bit more patient than that with young guys, but not everybody's like that. So maybe you take a look at Logan Stankoven and you say, hey,
Give me Matt Duchene, I'll give you Stankoven.
well, hey, if they're trying to win now, they might do something like that. But again, it's very difficult because he's so young.
Yeah. Very nice. And on this team, well, last year I think we can all agree why Johnson was this player. But who's your surprise player? A player that you didn't see coming that's having an over and above season for the Dallas Stars?
So, believe it or not, I always get surprised with this player because I never think of him. But Mason Marchman, like, nobody thinks of this guy, but he still puts up half-decent points from time to time. So
He was with Toronto, wasn't he? In the Dubas age?
Yeah. I don't know if it was the Dubas, but
and
yeah.
Dubas traded him? Yeah, it was.
yeah, so Mason Marchman's my guy. I mean,
What are his stats?
he's a bit injured right now, but he has 27 points in 33 games, so 67-point pace.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad for a player that.
A reserve, a guy you can put
Yeah.
in when someone's injured.
Yeah.
Junior, anybody?
Not really. You know what? Just because of his age, I'm surprised Jamie Benn still has 30 points in 45 games.
He was the other guy I was thinking about.
He's going on 36 years old. That's some pretty decent numbers for a 36-year-old. He's still very effective for the Dallas Stars. So
Yeah.
if I had to say a surprise, I would say Jamie Benn.
All right.
Very, very, very nice. And you guys spoke about one rookie. I don't know how many rookies
Yeah, well,
Dallas has, but anybody? I know there's Maverick Bork.
Yeah, I thought he'd be a little bit better.
Stankoven.
I thought Maverick Bork would be a little bit better.
Listen, he's not getting the minutes Stankoven's getting. I mean, we gotta be
No.
realistic also with what he's what
Not
he's
even
given.
12 minutes of ice time.
So, but it's also a team that's challenging, right, for the playoffs, for the Stanley Cup. So these young players are not all gonna get their licks in. So so let's talk about Maverick Bork. Do we see him as possibly hitting that top 6 forward dimension once in a few years, or are we just?
I think he has the opportunity on this team to be in the top 6. Right now, you have guys like Jamie Benn and Evgeny Dadonov, which are doing well, but the opening is there for Maverick Bork to be a top 6 player on this team. how effective can he be? Well, I think he's one of those guys that will be at an elite level on a third line, but could fill the void on a second line,
Yeah.
which usually ends up getting overpaid on a contract year.
So
That's the type of player I could see him becoming.
yeah, so I mean, like looking at Maverick Burke's comparables on hockey prospecting, which we haven't looked at in a while, I find.
Yeah.
His draft year, he was 34% possibility of being a star. In his D+3 year, he's at 15% possibility of being a star. To me, the guys that he's compared to, not very impressive, you know? So, and I think the closest comparison is probably Max Domi compared to the other guys, right? Because they have Landeskog here, they have Ehlers, but this was on his draft year. Now they're talking more about Zadina, right? Like, so I think he's going to be a good NHL middle six player. I just don't think he's going to be a consistent top sixer. I could be wrong.
Listen, we can always be wrong. This is why we do this. All right, so now to
We do
Surgeon
this
Eyes.
on purpose to be wrong.
Yeah,
I think
sometimes.
so. Yeah. All right, guys. So how about I just take a small lead here?
No.
If you-
Yes, you tell. It's your team, so explain to the audience what your league is all about.
All right.
What you know about
So-
that?
So let's talk about the Decent Cup. Decent Cup is a redraft league every single year, and it's you're drafting. I think there's only one IR spot, which really hurts in this league this year, and you're you're starting two goalies. You don't have a cap on the amount of games played for the week, but it's a head-to-head league. So weekly, there is some luck involved as well. The league counts its categories, so you have goals, assists, special team points, goals against average, wins, save percentage. All of these things count for goalies. Goals, assists, I already mentioned. Hits is one, and block shots. So
basically, you guys touch a bit on all the stats.
10 to 12 teams.
Okay. So 10 to 12 team. So we're looking at. Nick, what pick did you have?
So I had the third or fourth pick of the draft.
Third or fourth pick. So I'm just gonna go through your players quick. So basically, it's Matt Barzal, Austin Matthews, Buchnevich, Huberdeau, Kempe, Pedersen, Chichirim, Dobson, Hiskinen, Carlson, Crosby, and as your reserves, you have William Eklund, Mitchkov,
Eric
Protas-
Carlson, just to be clear.
Yeah, I did say Eric Carlson, no?
No, just like Carlson. It could be John.
Okay, sorry. Eric Carlson as a defenseman. So his reserves are William Eklund, Mitchkov, Protas, Matheson, and Vlasic. And his goalies are Blackwood and Sorokin. Are you allowed to pick up in this league or no?
Yes. A
Okay,
lot of
that's-
those guys you mentioned at the end there, the Ekblads, the Eklund, the Matheson.
And on IR, you have Niskushin.
That's right. And Vlasic, these were all waiver wire pickups for the week.
Okay.
So not really
And you are...
last.
Ooh, so you're first from the bottom.
I'm first from the bottom.
Okay. So,
We like the positive view.
Yes.
so Junior, like, what can... Like, I can see a bit already what's going on with this team. I mean...
I think the under. So
I'll tell you what I think for my own team.
you suck.
No, I think that Matthews missed a lot of time. I think Elias Pettersson missed a lot of time. I think there's a lot going on with those two. I think Heiskanen started really slow.
I think you have bigger issues than that.
Okay.
But go.
Go ahead.
Well, in the end, a lot of it has to do with underachievers.
Hmm.
In terms of points, Barzal, yes, injuries plus hasn't quite produced like he should. The Matthews injuries is a given. I think Buchnevich could have produced a lot more. He's been producing more than that in previous years.
Yeah.
So like even if it's just a little bit, if you take a little bit off every player,
But just think about the top four guys.
and
Okay?
Buchnevich is an all-around player, so hits, blocks, shorthands, like special teams, like so.
So think about the top four guys. Matthews, Elias Pettersson. Those were my first two picks. Okay. Sidney Crosby, right after. And then,
yeah.
right? Then there was, I can't remember if it was Heiskanen or
Well,
whatever.
Crosby is okay. I mean, he's still a point per game player. But I think
I would have assumed that I'd have a much better record.
points wise, Dobson has hurt you as well. And Nishushkin having already missed a month, then got hurt again. So that's a big loss. You had to deal with the waiver wire quite a bit, I would think.
Oh, injuries has definitely been an issue for your team. Like you said, Matthews, Barzal. I mean, these are guys you draft in top 5 in the first 5 rounds that are both missed significant time. It's like 10 games in a redraft is a long time.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, you don't have a lot of IR spots. So it's like...
One IR spot.
Yeah, and your bench is very young.
Well, it's all waivers.
Yeah. So like Eklund, Michkov, Protas has obviously...
Vlasic wasn't there. It was Seth Jones, but he got injured.
So you picked up Vlasic. Yeah. So but your goalies aren't the strongest.
Oh, yeah, that too. Sorokin.
Yeah, Sorokin hasn't had a very good
No.
year. Is it a contract year for him?
No.
He signed his deal.
Oh, he signed his deal. So yes, Sorokin and Black. Who did you have before Blackwood?
So let's do it. It was actually Anunin.
Oh wow.
No, sorry. It was Stolars.
Okay.
It was Stolars, and then when Stolars went down, I picked up Anunin because he was still in Colorado at the time.
Yeah.
And then Anunin gets traded, so I picked up Blackwood.
So
and that's
So Junior, his team strengths. What do you think it is?
yeah.
Team strengths, I think it's skill. So in terms of goals, assists, you have the players to produce to produce. Now in terms of position, it's tough between.
I had Gunther, Dylan Gunther as well, and I picked up Eklund because Gunther's injured forever.
With Gunther, I would have said your wingers were probably your strength, but I could easily say your centers are strength as well. It's just they underachieved, But I would say your strength was wingers.
Weaknesses.
For me, the weakness is that you have a lot of skill, but you're missing a bit on peripherals. So what my question was going to be like, how many times do you lose out on? Is it by categories or no?
Categories.
So how many times do you lose on hits or
Block shots.
Do you have block shots? I don't
Yes.
think. Yes. Like how many times do you lose in that column? Because with underachieving players, maybe sometimes you try to say, okay, let me try to make some of that up by peripheral play.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea, this week I'm winning on block shots. I'm losing horribly on goalies because my opponent had 2 shutouts this week. I'm losing out a lot on hits, but I'm winning on goals and shots. So I guess it comes to say that, I have the skill position set up, but even though I have more goals, 11 goals to his 7, he has a game-winning goal. I don't have a game-winning goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, there's luck involved in head-to-head leagues like this.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to ascertain where you're really missing out.
Vince, what do you think his strengths are? Or
Listen, I think as big, like I said, as big as the mice. I mean, you have a healthy Matthews, you have a healthy Barzal. That's a lot of offensive punch that you lost out on. Buchnevich, underachieving. Huberto, I'm not going to say underachieving.
Well, Huberto is a pickup now because Nishushkin was
Oh, okay, that's it. But Kempe, 41 points in 42 games. I think Pedersen
Pedersen's killing me.
yeah,
as your second round pick. Like I think Pedersen's killing a lot of
Pedersen and Barzal are big problems on your team because if they
Actually,
would have
Barzal was a waiver pickup.
really.
Believe it or not.
But even
I didn't even draft him.
Okay, so if you didn't start with him, then
Yeah.
it's not so bad.
I think defensively, your offense on your defense is a weakness
Okay, so
because right now you have Chichurim who's doing well, but I feel Dobson's underachieving. Heiskanen
in English, that's
underachieving.
Chikrin.
Chikrin,
yeah,
Chikrin.
guys.
So-
So goals scored, I'm middle of the pack. Okay, and I think again,
Oh, he missed. Wow,
Goal
there's still
scored.
hope, guys.
Still 2 touchdowns.
It's still
it's
time.
over. It's over.
There's still time. I've seen crazier things.
Goal scored, I'm middle of the pack. And that's without Matthews for the majority of the year and without Pedersen actually doing anything. Assists, I'm way down. I'm way, way down in assists. Shots on goal, I'm second. Right? To your point, a lot of that has to do with your wingers being good, right? Game-winning goals, second to last. That's luck.
Yeah.
That's luck. When you're
look,
middle of the pack in goals,
Like, look,
that's second.
Matthew scored, but he scored the 5th goal, not the 4th goal.
Exactly. Special team goals and special team assists, it's middle of the pack, let's just say.
Well, look,
but you see
top power play Barzal, top power play Pedersen.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. Special teams, right there, if you have Matthews for all 45 games and Barzal for all 45 games, they're both on PV1, and you can even say the power play goes through them.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where you lost a lot of your points.
Hits, not doing great.
I could have told you that.
Third.
I could have told you
Last
that.
third in the league. Block shots, doing great.
Yeah.
Top 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Top 4.
I thought it was worse than that.
Right? Like hits bottom, but blocks all the way up there. Goalie wins, bottom third.
Yeah. Like I said, Sorokin is.
But you're well
Save
set up for
percentage.
second half.
I think I'm well set up for second half. I need
It
some.
might be too late.
Might be too late.
How many games back are you from playoff spot?
Well, like my total season. So let's see, regular season stats. I am currently in last place. I have 53 wins and 65. What was it? Top 6 or top 8? I think it's top 6 in this league. 72. Anyways, it's a far cry.
20 points.
I mean,
think
you
20
sweep a couple of games, a couple of weeks.
20, but 20 wins, and like at the end of the week, you can get 5 wins on categories, right?
You could get more than 5.
Yeah. So it's not like it doesn't go by every week. It's just 1 win or 1 loss.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you still have time, Nick. I would like honestly the biggest thing I would tell you is just follow my waiver pickups. And you might have a chance.
So are you picking up, who was it this week? Coronado. Maybe drop Huberdeau, pick up Coronado. What do you have to lose?
What do I have to lose? I'm last anyways.
Maybe change the name of your team.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Partial Breakaway Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please give us a follow on social media. We are trying to be a little bit more active, as lately we've been quite busy with having too many kids.
And annoying wives. I mean, no, we love our wives.
We love our wives. Let's not. They allow us to do this podcast
Yes.
once a week
Guys,
after yelling at us.
It's going to be a little tough tomorrow after this Lions loss.
Yeah, Lions loss means your wife is going to be very upset.
You need to make. You need to
You
cook
need to make up for it.
Yeah, you need to cook her
Long
breakfast
1 hour
tomorrow.
massage.
Yeah,
You know,
cook her some
You guys
breakfast
want to take care
tomorrow.
of the kids
Breakfast.
while I make amends here? Or?
no, you're just trying to get lucky. All right.
Have a good night, peeps.